Now we will see some of the questions which was asked before. May not be direct, but you should be in a position to answer these questions. So, okay, see, these are the questions which was asked from this particular chapter. If you look into these questions, all the questions will be easy for you. That is what actually going to happen before you take the ethics paper and after you take the ethics paper. Once you take this paper, then when you come out of the exam hall, you think that it is so easy. And if you have not taken this paper, you seeing these questions again, you will think that it is so easy. Okay, so there is nothing which is not known to you. But now if you see the topics that we have done so far, we have discussed about values, we have discussed about ethics, okay, we have discussed about morality, we have discussed about types of values, okay, instrumental value, etc., intrinsic value, etc., we have discussed. And we have discussed the other concepts like sources of values, determinants of ethics, etc. So main sources are education and then family. We have discussed about nuclear family, joint family, and then peer group, and then religion, and then media, etc. So based on this, let's see what are the kind of questions which are asked here. Okay, this was the first paper actually. So 2013, first time when ethics was introduced. So you see this, some people feel that values keep changing with time and situation, while others strongly believe that there are certain universal and eternal human values. Give your perception in this regard with due justification. So where we have discussed this, we have discussed about universal and eternal values, right? I've discussed universal and eternal values on one side, or constant values versus context specific value. I hope you remember this. We discussed this, constant versus context specific, where when we discuss about nature of values, we discuss this, right? So what are the constant value? This is where I have told you eternal values or universal values, right? So we have discussed this already. And context specific means it is subjective, right? So it is time specific, it may be region specific, so there may be a specific context. So ethics or values can be different in different context, but there can be some values which are universal. And what are the examples I have given you here? So that I hope we have discussed already, there is no point in getting into this. So the examples of universal values, what are the examples? Love, care, compassion, right, etc. These are actually what? These are universal values. It doesn't matter what is the context. Any society, any time, these are considered as universal values, right? Are you able to get this? It doesn't matter what is the space, what are the circumstances, what is the time. It doesn't change with respect to time and space. These are universal, these are eternal, these are constant values. But there may be some values which are context specific. Okay, so for example, when you talk about killing, this is not considered as a good value, right? This is not good. But in some context, it may be considered as good. In some context, like for example, for self-defense, or as part of some culture, there may be killing. Okay, during war, we will discuss that in different situation, the ethics in war. Self-defense, for example, a woman is facing sexual abuse, okay, and then for self-defense she have to kill the other person, then it may be accepted at this point of time. So what I'm saying is, some values are universal and some values are context specific, and that's exactly what is actually asked here. So what are these universal and eternal values? Give your explanation for that. So you can talk about love, care, etc. Similarly, when you talk about public service, let's talk about public service. There also there can be some values which are universal and then context specific also. But if you see the universal values, what are they? Honesty, integrity, compassion, right, loyalty, dedication to public service. All these are universal values which is required in public service also. Right, I think that question was asked later. You can see that question somewhere here. Which one? Can you see that question related to public service? This question was there. Yeah, question number 17, right? So is it the same? Almost same, no? These two are actually almost same, but here it is related to public service. But this we will discuss in the coming chapters only. Since I've seen values, I've incorporated here. State the three basic values universal in nature. You see this word universal in the context of civil service. So here it is very specific. Their universal values in general was asked. So we talked about love, care, compassion, etc. Those are universal values anywhere. But here universal only, but it is in the context of civil services and bring out their importance. So now here, how will you answer this particular question? You can say in civil service also there are values which are context specific, because the values which are followed or which has to be followed in Oriental society, that is the Eastern society and Western society, may not be the same. So the values may be different based on the context, even in civil service also. But there are some values which are universal, which are applicable in all countries or across time and space. What are they? We can talk about integrity. So many, you just need how many? So how many they are asking? Three basic values. So integrity you can write, and then empathy or compassion we can write. I'll make the distinction later. Compassion, and then impartiality, dedication to public service, and then you can write probity. This is actually a topic in your syllabus, probity in governance. So probity, we'll discuss all these terms. But are you having sufficient content to write this? Yes, they're asking about 3 and you just need to write 150 words. So take any 3 from this. Mainly I think the best to write is integrity, empathy, the compassion element, and the impartiality, or even dedication is also fine. Dedication to public service. Okay, and you explain maybe 1 or 2 sentences you need to write about each with one example. So you will not get more time or space to write. So 150 word is there. The point which I want to tell you is this is again nature of value, universal in nature. So some values are universal, some values are context specific. Here also they are asking universal value, but in a specific context. This is a specific question. But in the first one that we have discussed, it was universal value, but in general. And there you can write love, care, compassion, etc. If you want to go specific, you can write towards the end in civil services also. Some values are considered universal, like integrity, honesty, etc. If not civil service, still it is considered as integrity and honesty, etc. Compassion. These are again universal values in general also. Okay, you don't want even to talk about civil service. So are we done with that particular question? I don't think that you will face any problem with this question. This is actually a very simple one. Yeah, this question number 6, if you see, context specific values means in a particular context it may be good, in other context it may be bad. Context specific means in a particular context, you have to follow that, like you might have heard, when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? That is a cultural ethical relativism. So ethical relativism means some ideas, some concepts which may not be ethical here, may be ethical somewhere else. So that's what, if you are in Rome, do like what the Romans do. That's what the idea of cultural ethical relativism. So it depends on culture, it depends on context. See, in some tribal culture, they kill the babies or they kill the female. Why? Because population increase means it is affecting their food requirements, etc. So they kill the female, they kill the babies, they kill the female babies. So it is part of their culture. We can't say it is bad. So that is what context specific. Okay, now see this question, the question number 6. Integrity without knowledge is weak and useless, but knowledge without integrity is dangerous and dreadful. What do you understand by this statement? Explain your stand with illustration from modern day context. See, the question offers a lot of different dimensions and you just need to write in 150 words. I don't think you will face any problem. You are extremely an honest person, you have the integrity, but if you don't have any knowledge, it's not going to do anything, right? At the same time, you are a very educated person but you don't have integrity, then it is going to create problem. That's what the statement is all about. So when we discuss about knowledge, we are talking about what? We are talking about the skills basically required. That is a professional competence. You are a computer engineer, so that is a knowledge that you have, that is a skill that you have, and that is a professional competence that you have. Okay, so when we discuss about integrity, this is your ethical competence. So both is required. Knowledge is required, that is a professional competence, and integrity, that is the ethical competence, both are required. Now later we will discuss about one topic, and if it is possible I'll discuss it today itself. Mahatma Gandhi's concept of 7 sins. I think that was asked in, yeah, it is, this question is here. Discuss Mahatma Gandhi's concept of 7 sins. This was actually a question in 2016. This we will discuss in some other chapter when we discuss about philosophers. There I will discuss about this. But if you see in this, one of the sin that he is discussing is in the context of this only, knowledge without character. So Gandhi is actually talking about this. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Knowledge without character. It is actually a sin. Now here character means you can connect it with integrity. So you can directly connect with Gandhi if you know that Gandhi's idea of 7 sins, and you can answer this question directly. So you can write about Gandhi. In fact, one more is there when we discuss about Gandhi, that is science without humanity. But this one is more applicable in this particular context, knowledge without character. That is directly given. So you can use this and you can write a very good answer. So the way you should write is something like this. You have on one side, you need education, that means knowledge. And on the other side, integrity, right? So if education is not there, what will happen? Then this is not useful for society, right? Integrity is not there, again it is not useful for society. So it is going to be bad for society, no good for society served, not good, right? This, if you see, no education, no integrity, no goods for the society served. But if both are there, if education is there and integrity is there, if both is yes, then what will happen? This will serve good for the people, good for the society. So maximum good for maximum people. This is what we understand as utilitarianism. We will discuss about this later. So it serves maximum good for maximum people. So you can even show like this diagram. So you have education, good, okay, good to education plus integrity, good to society. Utilitarianism, maximum good for maximum people. Okay, and no education, nothing is served. No integrity, no use at all. Okay, now education is there, yes, but this is no, then this will be dreadful as discussed in the question. This will be dangerous because you can talk about an IT engineer, he can hack everything, right? He can hack the entire system and he can create so much of problem. You can talk about Bin Laden. So various examples are there. Education, but no integrity. Okay. Now integrity is there, but for that you don't have any example to write. Integrity is there, but education is not there, is of useless. Okay. A doctor, he is educated, but integrity is not there, means you go to the doctor and he will take all your kidney and liver and everything and he will send you back, right? So he can make money, he can be rich. So this is dreadful, this is dangerous for the society. So I hope you have the content for this particular question also. It's all about the way you need to connect it. Later we are going to discuss about Mahatma Gandhi, and in fact now itself I'll discuss that quickly. So you can just note down Mahatma Gandhi's concept of 7 sins. Okay, now before that, let me show you one more question. You see here, 19, education without values as useful as it is seems to make a man more clever devil. Don't you think both are same? And this is an essay question. Essay means you need to write in 1000 words. So if you can use Mahatma Gandhi's 7 sins concept and everything, that's going to fetch so much of mark. And you'll get good mark here. Okay, so now if you compare here, this question was in 2014, okay, in ethics, and this question was in 2015 as your essay. So previous year ethics papers will definitely help you in your essay prediction also in one way. Okay, so exactly the same question here. There is nothing more to write. Even you can reproduce that statement in the beginning or in the conclusion, which was asked in the previous year paper. So that is very useful for you. Okay, so 7 sins when we discuss 7 sins: wealth without work. So you are not